All right, there we go. We're recording. So I'm so excited we get to paint. Let's paint a panda today, shall we? Thumbs up if you can hear me. I like to check in and make sure you can hear me because I taught a class for about 15 minutes before and nobody could hear me. I was on mute. So I'm going to check in every now and then. Okay, so here we go. Let's go through supplies. Let's make sure we have everything we need, because if we were at the studio, I would have everything ready for you. But since you're doing this yourself, let's go through it real quick, okay? So I have my apron on. If you don't have an apron, make sure you have a paint shirt, something that you don't care if you get paint on, because I know a lot of you painted in the studio with me before. The paint that we're using is acrylic paint. You can clean it up with water, but acrylic paint, when it dries, it turns to plastic. So you really can't get it out of your clothes. You can if you try real hard, but let's not. So make sure you have an old shirt on, you have an old paint shirt or an apron. And since we're painting at home, let's look around and make sure there's nothing we're super concerned that we might drip paint on. If you're standing on grandma's really nice antique rug, you might want to roll that out the way. Yeah. I'm painting in my kitchen and my living room is right there. So I'm gonna look and make sure there's nothing right over there in the living room that I might accidentally flick paint on. Okay, so the supplies that you got from me, I have the exact same thing. So we have a big canvas today. It's a 16 by 20 stretched canvas, and it's up to you, but I'm gonna try and remember to paint my edges. So I will try and remind you to paint your edges too, because it always looks nice when you're painting wraps all the way around and there's color all the way around it. Then you don't have to frame it. You don't have to do anything else with it. It's done when you're done. You can take it and hang it or set it up in your room. Okay, so we have our canvas. Yours might be laying flat. Mine is upright because that makes it easier for you to see what I'm doing. I have a water cup. I like to use something heavy. This is an old mason jar. I'm less likely to knock it over if it's heavy. It's only halfway full of water, and it's halfway full of cold water. Don't put hot water in your cup. You don't want warm or hot. You want cool or cold water in your cup. If your water is hot, it does something funny to the paint on your brush. It like dries the paint on your brush. It's super weird. So cool or cold. So let's talk about brushes. We all have different brushes today. So you want some kind of a big brush, right? We always do our big broad strokes in our background with this. Some kind of a medium brush, and then some kind of a pointy brush. And just like at the studio, while I'm not using those brushes, they're gonna go in the water cup and stay there. I've had some people say that's not good for your brushes to stay in a water cup. It's not for a long time, right? Because they'll start to get like all curved and deformed. But while I'm painting, that's a good place for them to be. When I'm done painting and I'm cleaning up my mess, I'll take them out, clean them out really good with warm soapy water in the sink, lay them flat to dry, and then I'll store them flat. Okay. Paper towels. Does everybody have a couple paper towels to blot your brushes on? Perfect. Awesome. I see thumbs up. Well done. Journey's nodding for me. Let's see. I also have a paint pen. You might not have that, but I always keep one in my paint supplies just in case. I like to sign my paintings with a paint pen. I have our inspiration picture there. You can still see it on your screen too. That's my laptop screen on Zoom. And then paint. I got my paint out. So I've got white and yellow and green and black. These are the only colors we need for this painting. If you have something extra at home that you want to play with and change your colors, that's up to you. But this is what I have because this is what's in that painting. Okay, so I'm gonna give everybody about 2 minutes because I see some people are getting their paints out. So I open my little containers and put them out on my plate. And then again, I have the same thing you have. I put the lid back on my container nice and tight. I only poured out about half of that white paint. because what I pour out on that plate when we're done, it's done. I have to throw it away. So I still have half a thing of white paint here. If I keep the lid on it nice and tight, it'll stay good for a couple months. I can use the rest of it later. Okay. And I like to get it out of the containers because the minute I dip my brush, if I were to dip my brush in here, I would mess up all that white paint if there was something on my brush. But if I keep it in here and I keep the lid on, I can use it again later. Okay. So it looks like, everybody ready? Everybody getting their stuff out? Yeah? Looks like we have a friend still getting her paint together. I'm so excited we get to paint. This pandemic has been so weird for all of us, right? Super weird. But we still get to paint, so that's a good thing. Okay. All right, another minute and we'll get started. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna sketch the panda on there first. So let's talk about how that panda is gonna work. So let's sketch the head, and I'll walk you through this. We'll do this together. The head is pretty big. The panda takes up a lot of the canvas, right? So don't put a teeny tiny little head right there, because then you'll have all this canvas with nothing on it. I want that panda to be nice and big. So all my brushes are in my water cup where they belong. In my water cup, I'm gonna find my medium brush. Not my biggest brush, not my pointy brush, my medium brush. See, I'm tapping it in there. When you have new brushes, which I know a lot of you do, when you have new brushes, you need to get that starch out of the bristles. So you want to clean that out. Dry it off on your paper towel because we don't want any runs in our paint. Dry it off. And let's sketch our panda with a tiny bit of black, just a little bit. Now, anytime I take paint, I'm always going to go in the edge. So I'm going to go right here in the edge of this black, not the middle, because I don't want to mess up that whole puddle. Just in the edge, just a little bit. Just a little bit of black on that medium brush. And let's mark where our panda head is going to be. So find the middle of your canvas, the exact middle. And I'm going to put a little mark there. That's my panda chin. That's the bottom of my panda head. And I'm using just a tiny bit of black. And then the top of my panda head, I put my hand up there. The top of my panda head is going to be right around, it's about as far down as the width of my hand. And the side of my panda head, same thing, about a hand width in. And over here, same thing. Oh, I got to step over. Same thing, hand width in. Okay, so the chin is right in the middle of the canvas. That's the bottom of the panda head. And then these are all about 4 fingers in, about a hand width. Your panda head might be bigger because your hand's smaller. Your panda head might be smaller because your hand's bigger. Who knows? But let's connect those in a big ovally circle. And look, I'm not using very much paint at all. Not much paint because I want that to dry. I want it to dry pretty fast. So you can see right through that paint because I'm not using very much. See how thin that is? And I can round out my panda head later. But this gives me a really good idea of where that panda head's gonna be. Okay, everybody got panda head? I think while I'm up there, I say we put ears on. I think panda needs ears. And the ears are gonna be big and round and in these corners. So a little more black, just a little bit, because we're just sketching. And the big panda ear over here. It looks like Mickey Mouse. Okay. Panda head, panda ears. Like it. Oh, it's time for panda body. Are you ready for panda body? I'm not going to go all the way off the bottom. I'm only going to go down to about a hand width. So watch this. I'm going to start with panda shoulder. Big chubby panda. Oh, and I'm going to stop right there where I hit my hand. Do the same thing over there. Okay, put hand there. Big panda body, big shoulder. I'm going to stop right there. That's a little silly. His body might need to go up a little further. That's why I'm using just a little bit of paint, right? So I can sketch. I can change it if I need to. And by using just a tiny bit of paint, it's going to dry fast. And then let's put our panda, let's set him down. Let's put our panda bottom on. Panda bottom. I said panda bottom. And then panda feet. Are you ready for panda feet? Panda feet. The big oval right there. And the big oval right there. Panda feet. I might even make them bigger. I want big panda feet. So silly. Okay. Everybody got a panda body? All right. I see panda bodies. I see it happening. All right. I'm going to take that brush, pop it in my water cup. I'm going to go to my big brush now. And let's paint the background, everything that is not panda. And I'm going to use green, maybe a little white, maybe a little yellow. Now remember, anytime you take a color in the edge, well, I'm pointing to the white, you can't see it because it's white. Go in the edge. So that way, if you need clean white later, you can pull out of this side or this side, right? That's why we always pull out of the edge of the piece. So I'm going to take that big brush, and it's the first time I'm using it. So I'm going to tap, tap, tap in that cup. All right, soften it up a little bit. Push the water out of it on your paper towel. We don't want any drips. And let's use some green. What if we start with green? Oh, that green is pretty. Woo! And let's paint everything that's not a panda. Green. Ooh, I might add a little yellow. Because green and yellow will give me lime. And we all know that's my favorite color, right? Ooh, lime. I like it. Oh, edges. Remember, I said I was going to try to remind you to paint your edges. And we're going to cover all that canvas that is not panda. So green, yellow. Oh, I said maybe a little white. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how that makes me feel. I add a little bit of white in there. there and get that tippy top. Oh, painting makes me happy. So happy. Makes me super happy because I'm never really sure how it's going to turn out. I can always have a good idea for how I want it to turn out, but I can't really control it. It is what it is. And that's okay. That's all part of being an artist, right? Is being okay with what happens. Being able to work with whatever's going on. If it's not working the way you think it should, you change your vision. Green, yellow, little bit of white. If I look at the original painting, there's a little bamboo in the background. I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna do that yet. No bamboo yet. I want to paint that whole background first. I got a booger paint. So while we're all painting, I just want to say, well, I want to say thank you. I'm so excited you're all here and we get to paint together. But I also wanted to say, when we're done with our painting today, as soon as we're done, I'm going to have you take a selfie and send me your picture of you with your painting. And all the pictures that I get by the end of the day today, I'll put those together into a video that I can put out on Crooked Door Studio Facebook. Because if we were at the studio painting together, we'd get together for a group picture. But since we're not there, that'll be our group picture. So you can email it to me or you can message me on Facebook. Oh, I'm over on that other side. I need to walk over and get that edge. Make sure I've got green all the way around. As I get down to the bottom of my canvas, I think I'm going to change my brush strokes and go sideways. Maybe add a little more yellow so it looks like my panda's sitting on the ground. I don't know. What do you think? Up to you. So as we paint together today, if your painting starts to, if it starts to get tough and things aren't turning out the way you think they should and you start to get frustrated, put your stuff down, put your brushes down. No worries, because I'm recording this so you can come back to the recording later. And I will send the recording link to moms and dads that got the Zoom link. So I will send that same email address. Moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, I should say. I feel like there were some grandmas and grandpas in there. Yes. Oh, I got to get the bottom edge. All right, we can't forget the bottom of the canvas. Okay. So we'll take a few more minutes and make sure we've got all that background. So I think I might put some bamboo in there. And it's okay if my background's still wet. I think I'm going to play with a little bit of bamboo. I'm going to take my pointy brush with just a little bit of white and put some lines in. Just the idea of bamboo. I'm not going to get real specific. Almost looks like he's sitting in front of green wallpaper right now. Then I'm going to put some leaves on. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Easy peasy. A little bit of white, maybe a little bit of green and yellow. A little bit of white, green, yellow. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Leaf. One over here. 1, 2, 3. Let's see, how much bamboo is too much bamboo? Can you have too much bamboo? I don't know that you can. Yep, I got you, Evelyn. I'm going to slow down now. Thanks for letting me know. It's the hard thing about this whole painting at home, right? Virtual painting at home. Having no idea how fast and slow everybody else is going. Okay. So once your background is done, and I know a lot of you are still working on your background, we're going to let it dry. So you can play in the bamboo, make sure you got your edges covered. Go. It's funny, I already know my feet need to be bigger. I can already tell. Okay, so I'm done with my background. I'm gonna put my brush in my water cup. Let's give it 10 minutes to dry, I think, because I don't want green in my Panda. That would be unfortunate. So how about we give it 11 minutes? And that'll give everybody time to get to the same spot. It's 11:30, so how about 11:40? 11:40. If you wanted to, you could go rinse your brushes out and get clean water to make sure there's no green at all left in your brushes. So I'm tapping my brushes in my water cup, knocking the paint out of them, and then I'm gonna go get clean water because I don't want my Panda to be green. You may, that's up to you, but that's not what I'm going for. So 11:40, so 10 minutes, and we'll come back together and we'll start on that Panda, okay? And that'll give everybody time to get their background done, get some bamboo in there. Get clean water. I love looking around, seeing everybody working. Everybody's just working away. How's it going, Chelsea? Good? Yes. Your Panda's gonna be magnificent. I see some of us are working on bamboo, right? The bamboo, it's just a lighter shade of green. And then three little leaves right there on the bamboo. They all come together. Boop, boop, boop. It's a V with a line in the middle. I put them wherever it made me happy. Really no rhyme nor reason other than my happiness. Oh, you guys are all doing so good. I can see those of you that have your cameras on, I can see what you're doing and they look great. How you doing, Evelyn? Are you breathing? Breathe, Evelyn. It's okay. Oh, that looks good, honey. That looks good. I know we all move at a different pace, right? And that is okay. Okay, so we've got another 5 minutes, and that's giving this time to dry so I don't get any green in my Panda, because that would be unfortunate. Here we go. Oh, is everybody getting clean water? Yeah, so we don't have any green left in our brushes. Oh, I wish we were at the studio and we had a little bit of black glitter for the Panda's nose. Wouldn't that be adorable? Just a little bit of black glitter right there. But I don't keep glitter at home. My husband doesn't like that. Okay, so a few more minutes. Got about 3 more minutes. And I think I'm going to use my big brush. And I think we're going to do the black on the Panda first, except for the nose and mouth. We'll put those on last. So a couple more minutes and we'll start working on the black on the Panda. And remember, Evelyn, move at your own pace. If you're not ready, you can go back and watch the video later. And that is too funny. I can't see your name, but whoever it is that's painting, you're sitting on your sofa right now with a cat. A minute ago, that was a dog. I was like, that's kind of impressive. That was a quick change. So I like to tell little stories while I paint, because it's weird for me to be here by myself and have nobody talking and have nothing going on. So my story about dogs, years ago, I had a French bulldog. I still have a French bulldog, but this was a different one. I had a French bulldog, and she was little, and she had bat ears, and she was brown and black. She was brindle. And at the same time, I had a Mastiff, and he was ginormous, and he was the same color as my French bulldog. So my Mastiff, that was 150 pounds, he's a big guy. He walked into the vet's office, and the vet saw him walk in, and then saw my French Bulldog walk out. And the vet got the biggest giggle out of that because he's like, that was the quickest change for a dog to change sizes. Oh, dogs. Love animals. Journey, do you have an assistant? Oh, that looks good, honey. That looks good, Journey. That's quite impressive that you have an assistant that's cleaning your brushes and getting you water. How do I get one of those? Oh, okay. It's 11:40. So I say we go ahead and move on. Evelyn, again, honey, take your time if you need to, right? You can go back to the video later because I know we all move at our own pace. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to look real close at my canvas and make sure right around my bear that I don't have any big chunks of wet green paint. Something that I'm going to drag through that will change the color of my panda. And if I look at it in the light, I can see where it's shiny, where I might have wet paint. Looks pretty good. Okay, no wet paint on the edges around my bear. I've got some wet paint out here, but not right around my bear. So I'm gonna take my biggest brush, I'm squishing it around in there to make sure I don't have any paint left over in it. I got clean water. And dry it off on my paper towel in a clean spot. And I say, let's do the black first. I think the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the big black eyes. So those can be drying before I put white on. So I'm going to use my big brush because I want those eyes to be big. Dry your brush off. No drips of paint running down your canvas. I'm going to take some black. My eyes are going to be pretty big. Big black panda eyes. Woo. Big eyes. All right, one. Too big? I don't know. I can always make it a little smaller later with some white. But I know pandas have great big black patches around their eyes. It looks kind of spooky. It looks kind of creepy. He won't for long though. We'll fix him. I've got one eye that's bigger than the other. It's okay. I'll fix it with a little bit of white because I have to paint his head in white later. Okay. And then paint those ears in. And ears. I'm making sure to cover that original sketch line I put on there. Big black panda ears. Now he really looks like Mickey Mouse. Okay. Panda eyes, panda ears. Panda shoulders. Still using my big brush. And from my feet, from the top of this foot, do a big frown. Frown, maybe like a rainbow. That's going to be his white belly. And then we're going to fill this in. His neck, fill his neck in. I keep saying his, maybe Panda's a girl. Fill Panda's neck, and this will be Panda's arms. Again, remember to cover that sketch line. That black should cover that green pretty nicely. So I'm going to do all these black bits, and then I'm going to take another, like a 10-ish minute drying break. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to put in between the feet, I'm going to do a nice thick black line for my panda. Is that a panda belly or panda bottom? I don't know, but something to sit him down. So a nice thick black line there, and that covers that sketch line. And then the last thing I'm going to do with this black is paint the outside of the feet. And I think I might take this chance to make my feet a little bigger. I feel like my feet are small. Not my feet are fine, but my panda feet. I'm gonna make my panda feet a little bigger. And just the outside, I'm leaving the white in the middle. And then we'll take a nice drying break for everybody to get to the same spot. Back and the feet. Okay. Okay, so we're on a drying break. Once you have your big black panda eyes, your ears filled in, your neck and shoulders, and your panda feet, and a little mark down here for a panda Panda bottom, Panda belly bottom. Then I'm going to take that big brush and pop it in my water cup, and we're going to let things dry. So about another 10 minutes maybe. That sounds good. So how about noon? Noon sounds good. I will check in at noon and see if we're ready to move on with the white and put the finishing details on there. And I already know I need to make my eyes a little smaller, at least that one eye. I got one ginormous eye. That happens. Happens in Panda world. Okay. So 10 minutes at noon, we'll move on, and that's giving this time to dry a little bit. And giving everybody time to get to the same spot. So we still have about 8 minutes before we move on. But as I'm doing the same thing I did with the green. I'm looking where the black comes into the ears. I'm making sure I don't have any big chunks of wet paint. If I do, I'm going to smooth those out. Because I don't want my panda to turn all gray. He can have a little bit of gray, but not a lot. So I'm smoothing out any chunks of paint that I have, any big paint boogers. So a reminder again that when we're done today, I'll have you take a selfie or have somebody that's there in the house with you, have them take a picture of you with your painting and send it to me on either Facebook or email it to me. And then all the pictures that I have later today, send it to me by the end of the day today. I'll put that together in a collage video, in a group picture video that I can put out on Facebook and Instagram. Because if we were at the studio, we would take a group picture. But since we're not at the studio together, that's our way to be able to do a group picture. Okay. Nothing like watching paint dry, huh? So about 7 more minutes. And again, it's given this time to dry. And I'm going to need a clean, I don't know, it's up to you if you use your big brush for this next step. Oh, excuse me. Or your medium brush, up to you. But we need a clean brush and some clean white paint in about 6 minutes. Oh, I love fall. Does anybody else love fall? I love fall, right, Evelyn? Right? I love fall. That's the beauty of being able to paint at home right now. I would like to be back in the studio, but where I paint at home, I can look out my back door and see all the beautiful colors in the woods out back. There's a lot of green still, a lot of green, but there's one little tree. My husband made fun of me because I called it a tree bush this morning because it's little. There's a tree bush back there that's the brightest, prettiest orange I've ever seen. Oh, and because I'm painting at home, I get to enjoy that little orange tree bush. Oh, Journey has a story. So we have about 4 more minutes. Again, letting that dry a little bit. Oh, yes, the one little orange tree bush. I will absolutely do that. Okay, here we go. Let me get this off of here. And I'm gonna flip it. Oh, I'm gonna unplug that and I'm gonna flip it around. And I'm gonna take you out my back door. Where's little orange tree bush? Oh my goodness, it's so nice outside. Let's see, where is he? He's hard to see, but he's right there beyond the bird feeder. But beyond the birdhouse. Look at him. There he is. Little orange tree bush. Lot of green still. But there's a little orange tree bush. Oh, it's so nice outside. So there we go. All right, I'm gonna head back in here. There we go. Tree bush. Thanks, Journey. I love my little orange tree bush. He should probably have a name. What would be a good name for a little orange tree bush? I don't know. I don't know why, but I'm thinking like French for fire. I don't know what that would be, but he is very much like that little, oh, Autumn's a good one. Yeah, he might be Autumn. That, oh, orange juice, that's a good one. I could call him Juice. Again, I don't know why it's a boy. I don't know why I keep saying him. Maybe it is a boy. Huh, I don't know. Juice. I kind of like Juice. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that though. Do you know how to pronounce that, Evelyn? Yeah. Is it? It's not Tyrer. That's Ohio. That's the way you say it in Ohio. Tirer. Tyrer. Okay, 1 more minute. And again, before we move on, let's check and make sure we don't have any big wet rolls of black paint that we might drag through that would change the Panda to gray. Running around here real quick. It's okay. If you look at the original picture, there's a little gray in the Panda's belly. That's okay. A little gray in the feet. But that head, I want that head to be pretty white. It sounds like tear. Ooh, tear. I like that. I don't know. I'm torn between tear and juice. I'll have to ask my husband and see what he says. And you know what my husband will say? Why are you naming the tree bush? He'll just shake his head. That's what he does. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. So let's go ahead and paint that Panda head white. And brush is up to you. I think I'm going to use my big brush. Make sure clean it out, dry it off. No water drips down your painting, so make sure you've got the water out of it. Dry it off. And because I used in the edge of my white earlier, I can use in the other side of it now and still have clean white. Okay, here we go. And ahead. Cover that original line we put on there, that original sketch line. Go all the way out to the green. Hey, oh, he's looking good. And I'm taking this opportunity to make his eye a little smaller because things got a little out of control when I put that eye on there. I love that I learned fire in French today. Thank you, Journey. Tear. I love that I learned that. I love that you guys taught me that today. Thank you, Evelyn. Okay, so I feel like I'm gonna need another coat of white on that panda head because you asked Alexa, don't you love technology, Evelyn? Technology is amazing. So you can see through, I've got some lines back there that white paint didn't quite cover. If you're having the same situation I am, let it dry. I will cover it again, but I have to let that dry. So I'm going to move on to the feet and the belly. And then by the time my feet and belly are done, I'll be able to go back up and put another coat of white on the head. Okay. Round his head out a little bit here. Put the white in the center of the feet. And they might need another coat too, and that's okay. All right. Okay, I'll paint that belly. You know, if we weren't in paint class, that would be weird. Paint that belly. But we're in paint class, so it makes perfect sense. And the original painting, there's a little bit of gray in the belly. I don't know if that was on purpose or accident, but I think I'm going to add just a little bit. A little bit of gray around that foot. Maybe a little bit of gray down there at the bottom of the belly. Oh, I might add a little on the other side too, right by the feet. Kind of makes it look like shadow. Huh, a little bit of gray. Oh, but before I go up to put another coat of paint on the head, then I have to wash out. so I don't get gray in the head. You know what, Journey? It just occurred to me, by me taking you outside, that's now in the video that'll go on YouTube, the class video. And everybody that watches that video will get to see my little tree bush, tear juice. I think it's tear juice. It might be both. I'm not sure. Okay. So I've cleaned that brush out because I put some gray down in the belly. So I'm cleaning it out to go back to white, clean white. And now I can put another coat of white on that head. That's better. And that'll help cover, that'll help cover any of those background lines that you might see, where I made his eyes a little smaller. Oh, you guys, we're close. We're close to done. We still have to do the light in the eyes and the nose and mouth. And then don't forget, before you clean up your paint mess, don't forget to send me a picture of you with your painting. Okay. Okay. I think I need a little more white on those feet, because you can see my line through. A little more white, another coat of white. Go. Better. And I'm going to take a smaller brush with a little bit of black and fix. I got down in the belly a little bit. Fix that one. Okay. There we go. Fixed. We can fix just about anything with paint, right? It just takes a little time for it to dry. Oh, what is the Firebird from Harry Potter? Dumbledore's Phoenix. But what's the Phoenix's name, Evelyn? I remember Dumbledore saying you've met him on a bad day. Fox. Oh, thank you. That's a good one. Thank you, Carly. Yep. That might be a good tree bush name, too. My husband's going to wonder what has happened here today when he comes home. So a whole list of names. And somehow he won't be surprised. He knows what he married. He knows. Okay. So I think I'm probably ready to put some finishing touches on there, right? Okay. So I think I'm going to use my pointy brush for this last bit. I'm going to give that area where the nose and mouth is going, I'm going to give it a little more time to dry. So I'm going to go into the eyes because my black eyes are nice and dry by now. So with my pointy brush and a little bit of white in the top of each eye, I'm going to put a dot And down below in the bottom, a swoosh for some light. Same thing in the other eye. A dot. And a swoosh. Oh, sweet panda. Sweet, sweet panda. We just put light in the panda's eyes. Okay. And then nose and mouth in black. What does that nose look like? It's kind of like a, is it like a cat nose? It's a little more round than a cat nose, isn't it? Round. It's like a really round triangle, I think. Oh, and my white is still wet, so my nose is a little gray. I actually kind of like that. If you don't want a gray nose, you can let it dry, but I think the gray nose is kind of cute. I need to stop because my nose just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I guess my panda should have a big nose though, shouldn't it? Got to be able to breathe. There we go, cute. And then right down from the middle and swoosh. Right down from the middle and swoosh. And I do believe we're done. So cute. So cute. I'm gonna put a little bit of light right there on his nose. Just a little white swoosh across the top. A little light on it. He's got light in his eyes. He should have light on his nose, right? All right. So with that, I'm done. You may not be done, and that's okay. You keep painting if you're not finished. But I think I'm going to call mine done. When you're done, don't forget to sign your artwork. So we usually, I say usually because all artists are different, but we usually sign in one of the bottom corners. You can use your little brush, or you can use a Sharpie or a paint pen if you have it. So usually down there, I like to put a year with mine too. So you get to decide what your artist signature is. My artist signature, I'll show you in a minute, is SS blah, 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 for my last name. And then I do a little tick and a 20. So I know I created this in 2020. If you don't want to sign on the front, some artists don't, you can sign on the back. If you sign on the back, never here, never ever here, always out here. If you sign here, it could bleed through to the front. So if you're going to sign on the back, make sure you sign where the wood is on the edge. Okay, but I've got my handy dandy paint pen. So I'm going to pick a corner and sign right down here in the corner. And my signature is S, blah, and a little tick and a 20, a little tick and a 20. So I know I created that in 2020. And with that, I think I'll call that done. So don't forget to take a picture and send it to me. You should have my email address that you received the Zoom link for today. So you can email it to me or you can private message it to Crooked Door Studio. Everything I've received by the end of the day today, I'll put out a group video, probably with both classes, either late tonight or tomorrow morning on Facebook and Instagram. So I want to thank you guys all so much for joining me today. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now, and I'll send out the recording probably tomorrow, the link to the YouTube recording, so you can watch it again if you want, or you can watch the OWL recording from later tonight if you want. I'll send you both of those. So I'm going to go ahead and stop recording, and then I'll give you the opportunity to unmute yourselves so you can chat amongst yourselves a little bit if you want. So thank you so much for joining me. You guys are awesome. This has been a lot of fun. I'll see you soon.